afternoon, Sunday morning, for I know most of you all still, but I'm on the East Coast, so you know how that is. So I just wanted to put this video out. First of all, shout out to King Sigma. I just got off of just doing a talk with him about the April Mason, situation. Which at the end of the day, she just made an announcement she was doing a reorganization of her business dealings, and we're talking about it, but that's where that is. That's where it's just a weekend thing, maybe a couple of more days, and that'll be it. It is what it is. Hope she's successful in whatever endeavors that she does, and I mean that. Um, Also, shout out to Shannon. That was probably Shannon's first 6 hour run. I'm sure it sounds it's harder than it sounds, but when you got a great conversation, you got to keep it going. Hopefully he cuts it up, because when you do, people say that and never do it, but the reality is when you do a stream that long, you got to cut it up, because it's gives good quality content. That's where the value of doing something like that comes in. Um, and I know the Black Manosphere doesn't do a good job doing that, but kudos to Shannon for that. Kudos to all the panelists. One of the things, and appreciate Son as a hot rod for super chatting. Some of y'all that super chatted, y'all supported, y'all brought some to it. Um, but one of the things we have to understand is we have to be very respectful of other people's environments, and I think for the most part you all were. I still want to take the opportunity though to kind of acknowledge that. And just because somebody's black and they're a male doesn't mean that they're in our house. So, um, so I wanted to definitely put that out there, and then say I appreciate how you all conducted yourselves over there. It wasn't nothing crazy, but it's something to always keep in mind. It's not our house, and you want to be respectful to the environment, the vibe, the type of situation that Shannon has worked hard to put out there. He creates a unique experience. Everybody brings a unique vibe and experience to their channels based on how they choose to run their channel, how they choose to do their stuff, what their background is, where they come from, what their experience level is. And he has definitely been respectful to our space. So I do want to respect his unique independence and what he wants to do. Um, and I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave that there. But I did want to acknowledge that, put that out there, because look, I'm not. I don't even want to be looked and seen as okay. Everywhere I go, stuff is going to take over. Now I'm the one that actually went and got BGS because I wanted somebody. I wanted the audience to really get a thorough analysis of the history of a lot of stuff, because I can explain it myself, but what's going to happen is based on my personality, it's going to divulge into um a back and forth, and that's why I'm glad that's why I brought BGS there, because I knew he would be able to kind of put everything in a way that it needed to be put. So that being said, let me make sure you all can hear me and I'm not just talking to the wind. All right, shout out to St. Valley, shout out to Katie Rage. With that being said, I'm gonna have a conversation real quick about that conversation. So I shared it in my community tab. Definitely check it out. I should have put a timestamp to when I got on there, but it's probably a couple of hours into it. But pretty much like 4 hours of that. You had Charles there, Black Hoover came there, a lot of people came there. But I want to talk about when I was on there. That's the main way. There's actually two real important points as far as me. You have when I was on there, and then you had really towards the very end with I forget what the dude's name. And those are going to be the 2 points that I kind of talk about. But the main one is going to be me being on there. So, first things first, I don't take this stuff personal. Let me be very clear about that. I do not take this stuff personal. But at the same time, it's kind of like when you play sports. I go hard. I go in. I don't. There are times where I'll be when I will preserve, the sanctity of the conversation. But make no mistake, when I'm doing that, and that, and yeah, there is a way to have a dialogue when you're doing that. But the reality is, a lot of times, folks, a lot of times it's not really designed to get to the truth of the matter. It's designed for people to be emotionally, validated. And I really have no concern for that. So one of the things that were said in the chat, because I was in the chat for a while after I'd actually got off, jumping in and out. But people, it was two females in particular, but it was one dude too, where they were saying I'm mean spirited and I was mean and I was this and I was that. Let me be very clear here. I don't give a goddamn about what you think I was as far as mean spirited. If you think that's mean spirited, then that's you being fragile. And I say this all the time. I don't give a fuck about your feelings. I don't give a fuck about how you feel. The question I care about is it accurate and it is the truth? Because the truth is, I know that I'm not coming at this on some angry, mean spirit. Like, people like to use words in order to try to control behavior, and I definitely resent that. I definitely resent that. Um, and yeah, this idea that you're being mean, you're being this, you need to say it a certain type of way. Look, man, I want to hear it from females that say I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, you can't tell me shit. The same women that want to be fragile as fuck. And I'm talking about in the chat in particular right now. I really don't care. Oh, well, I'm a feminine woman, so you have to talk to me in a certain type of way. First of all, feminine women don't dictate to men how to speak. That's number one. And this is one thing about black females, is black females have this thing about they don't really understand femininity. That's between you and your mothers, but they try to manifest it like that. And for those of you all that wanna, because people want to tell me about a resource but don't want to give it, I'll give you a perfect example. Go listen, go look at Kevin, go look at, I wish I could bring up it was one of the things on the Lapeef Network when the lead attorney was really lambasting um um Amira, and then you could look at Kevin Samuels' recent video on the dating out where Amira was one of the first to call in, you know. And I'm not trying to show a non-black woman what femininity is, but the reality is, you all want to claim to be feminine, but at the same time, you all still want control. One of the things about femininity is this is why black women always associate femininity with being a doormat, because they can't square with that because they haven't been taught. Now let me be very clear here. I don't give a damn about what you haven't been taught. I really don't. The outcome is what I matter. So if you haven't been taught, what you're essentially saying is that you're not qualified. And if you're not qualified, you shouldn't be in the room. That's kind of how my mentality on certain, whether it's men or women. When dudes say, "Well, I don't know," well, you're not qualified, so you shouldn't even be in the room. That's my mentality. It's like a job. If you're not qualified for the job, it doesn't matter if you don't have degrees and stuff. Well, clearly you haven't been taught. So if you haven't been taught, it means you're not qualified. If you're not qualified, why are you here? And that's not to say that people don't have a right to have a conversation, but that's kind of like the logic tree with that. So when people use "I haven't been taught" or anything like that, whatever. But anyway, and the other thing is when it comes to victim politics, somebody was saying, oh, well, what I've heard with black men is that's called victim politics. It's because BGS was talking about telling Shannon. So what do you expect? Do you expect black men that he laid out, can't read, can't do this, that, and the third, and Shannon acquiesced to that because, I mean, it was a tight argument. And then she's like, well, that's a victim politics. That's not the same as black women deflecting. That's not, you having a bad attitude has nothing to do with what racism has done to you. You treating black men like shit has nothing to do like this BS about what you weren't taught. That's a victim mindset because you all use that as a way of getting resources. This is what you've been taught as to how you all lobby and petition for resources by talking about how much of a victim you are. That is a victim mentality. Black men do not get benefits from claiming victim. And see, this also goes into women really believing, when you ask them, they'll never say this, but they do feel, and keyword is feel, that they go through the same shit as black men, which they don't. They don't. So, and I asked this one female, okay, give me an example of victim mentality. She couldn't. She couldn't give me one phraseology that would match what was being talked about. All she saw was she felt that BGS was talking about a victim mentality when he was laying out the reality of the situation as to what black men face. Now, you can accept it or not accept it, but this is why the numbers are the way they are. That's not a victim mentality, that's just the facts. It's like saying, well, why are you homeless? Well, I'm homeless right now because I don't have an address right now, because I had a tornado came through my house and basically swept it away. Oh, that's a big mentality. No, that's a fucking fact. Now, I'm resolving that problem and it's in the process of being fixed. But at the end of the day, that's the reason. Not no, um, well, I act like a bitch because there's no patriarchy, or I act like a bitch because I haven't been taught how to be a lady. And the what the implication of that is, what's implied is that men should tolerate that. Men should tolerate that. Or, colorism, featureism, ugly girl arguments. Saying, well, black, like those are victim mentalities. Woe is me, black women are this, black women are that, black, like this constantly crying, which black men are not doing. Black men are not constantly crying about white supremacy like that. Not the ones that are really making stuff happen. You got to deal with it. So again, a big problem is women do a lot of projecting. So now I'm about to jump into the main event of what I'm talking about, which is my interaction with Dana. So it's a YouTuber by the name of Real Dana. She has a channel. She's gotten notable interviews like, Judge Joe Brown multiple times. And what I found very interesting, and there's only a couple of people in the comment section, but they said the same thing. They were talking about, well, they basically accused her of being a black feminist or being a feminist, which I find very funny because she's more on the conservative side of things. But at the end of the day, she is out of the Northeast, and in the Northeast, I'm Republican or Democrat. They're culturated a certain type of way. They just are. So I understand why people can mix that up, but I don't believe she's a actual card carrying feminist. She's a feminist. So let me be very clear about that. But the issue, and I'm not looking at the chat, so just be mindful. I'm in a rock. I'm only looking at the chat every once in a while to make sure it's still going. But we had a back and forth, a couple of back and forth, a couple of exchanges, and about some things I talk a lot about in this channel as far as like the gynocracy, the origin of gynocracy, the different iterations of the gynocracy, like with SWP has had this patriarchy problem. SWP has talked about this before me, so we've had the patriarchy conversation, and a couple of things I want to highlight just because. This is a thing that black women got to understand. Just because we don't bring something up doesn't mean we don't see it. And this is why black women have this thing where they think they're smarter than black men, because black men are not blowing the whistle on them every time they do something, because we wouldn't have a conversation if we did. Like I said on the video, and I'm going to say this now, what Dana was essentially doing, and she can feel all she wants to that she was not doing this, but anybody, like, I can show this video to multiple people and they'll say the same thing. In fact, there was a couple of people that said the same thing, but they said it before I brought it up, which is what she would essentially do, something that black women do a lot. They will sit there and get into a group and then they will try to politic within the group. So you will sit there and then say, "Oh well, since you're an expert and you are certified," which is a diss. Like, you may not think it is, it's a diss, because if you did that to a female, a female would take it as a diss. So I know you know that. If you said that same phraseology with a woman amongst female groups, women would understand that. So women understand this stuff when they're doing it with each other. But see, with men are supposed to take it. But because you're a certified clinician, which basically says he has more credibility than anybody on the panel, including the host, by the way. That's what she was implying with that. What do you think about this issue and that issue? I'm like, shout out to Kosher, but Kosher's a nigga on this panel like anybody else. Yes, there's certain things that can be deferred to, because deferred to, but what he says is not law. It's not. Because just like how, let's say he said something I did not agree with, I can go get a clinician or a certified that would say what I was already talking about, because a lot of the stuff that I do are ran by people that are certified. Dr. T.S.I. Johnson is we got multiple PhDs in our in our space. So this idea of wanting to play the certification game, which is it's a game. That it is. We got lawyers, we got plenty of people now. See, that's harder to play now than that was before because now we got people that are out there that are open that are certified, and culture is in our space. And what happened? So anyway, we'll ask a certain question, and this didn't happen all the time, but she would just happen a couple, like maybe once or like twice, and she would talk to him, but see when he didn't give her the answer she wanted, she didn't accept the answer in totality of what he gave it. What she would do is try to peck at him. Peck, 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 peck. This is a lot of this is that passive, it's that old school passive aggressive bullshit. This type of shit you see in church. This type of shit you see. This is the gynocracy before, black women start putting their dick on the table openly saying, nigga, you ain't shit, not running. This is classically how the stuff goes down. And she kept pecking at him, pecking at him, pecking at him until he would kind of he wouldn't acquiesce fully, but he would give like these little disclaimers, on certain things. And like for instance, in the concept of patriarchy, he would talk about, but he basically said, we weren't the true patriarchy, but we mimicked it, and he would give an example of like this macro, micro, this three levels of patriarchy. And what she would that's not the answer she was looking for. So she kept pecking, 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 pecking. And unless somebody interrupted, he was gonna come fully off of that because this is where black men have this natural tendency to want to emotionally sync up with women. They want to their idea of what a north star is the female satisfied, not saying, I said what I said, what I said is what I said, and that's the extent of the answer that I'm gonna give. I don't know what you're looking for. You got to stand on your own when it comes to what you're saying, because she was very surprised that everybody on the panel, keep in mind, because see, when I said the black community was never a patriarchy, the excuse was I'm 35 years old. I'm 35 years old, so I'm not old enough to understand when it was a patriarchy. As if I don't have grandparents that were married, that were married until death. As if I don't know that, which is another way of shutting down my argument. And this is what women do, and they do it in different ways. And I even eventually told her, I said, these are the plays that you're running. No, you're taking it personal. No, I'm not taking it personal because I'm not the original one that brought up the issue. I was gonna let it slide, but just know that all these plays that you're running, I'm clocking them because black women do it all the time. It's just like reading audibles and shit. Like we see it. Now whether we bring it up is different. If I took it personal, I would have been compelled to say something. But I didn't do that. I was the first one to bring it up. It was a dude that I did not know that actually brought that up. You know? So it goes to show you I'm not the only one seeing it. But anyway, that was the one way of doing it. The second way of doing it would be the age thing. Well, you're not old enough to understand, this is this. I mean, you're only 10 years older than me. You're not, like, if that. You're like, what, 44? You're not that much older than me. You're not older enough. Like, you're older. You could be an older sister. Like, you're not, like, in fact, my youngest brother is 10 years younger than me. He's 25. My middle brother is 5. So 10 years ain't nothing. You got to have like at least, really, really, I don't even want to say 15 at a minimum, really 20 to really be able to pull that card. And here's the thing, when black men pull that card, we call it like they get checked for pulling that card, because that's a card that's only pulled when the logic is not there. So it's these little ways of like politically trying to win arguments without the logic tree of it. And then it's the telling stories to where we're going to start. And to be fair, you know how I long-winded, but people are going to start preaching and telling stories because it's about moving the needle emotionally. It's not about the facts. It's about moving the needle emotionally. How can I win this argument emotionally? How can I get these niggas on what I think emotionally? And see, the problem is in a patriarchy, that does not work, because that doesn't matter, because that's what women bring to it. Men only care about the facts because that is what's conducive of an outcome. So not how people feel about something. And see, this is why black women only get to a certain level on stuff as a group, because they can't get past that for the most part. Or they acquiesce to other groups that are coming at stuff from a logical standpoint. But going back to the patriarchy point, because this was like a real point of contention, is Dana's argument was because we had a strong black family, that we had a patriarchy. Just because people like, and even today, even amongst black families now, let's say fuck everybody else, and we're only going to talk about intact households. In fact, I will take you one better. We're not even going to talk about stepfathers. We are only going to talk about black men that are married with children. Shout out to black and married with children.com. Very good website. You should check that out. A lot of these dudes are in submissive relationships. A lot of these guys, and this are relationships where they submit to the women. Just because a household is intact does not mean the man is automatically leading. And see, what women try to do is when black women believe that black men are supposed to defeat them in like we're supposed to like leading, they don't under they look, here's the thing. Black women will never identify leadership as I'm being compelled to do something I don't want to do. If a black woman does it, and this is how they typically articulate it, they will articulate that. What's the difference between leadership and controlling? The difference between leadership and controlling is leadership is when a black female buys into what the dude wants to do. Controlling is when a man has, for whatever reason, the ability to compel a black female to do something they don't want to do. And to be fair, white women will use the word controlling. All that's actually their word. But that's really leadership is not permission based. And that's the problem in our community. Our community folks want permission based leadership. Now where black men fuck up, to be fair, use morality because they use morality as a way of trying to influence black women or black men as well. This is that game shit to basically convince them to do something that they don't have the tangible leverage to compel people to do. Remember, BGS said there's three ways to get people to do something. You can pay them off, you can influence them, or you can use force. And black men cannot legally and will not, even if they could use force against black women. They can't really buy them off because most black men don't have the money. So what happens? What happens is they try to influence them. This is why black men have this religion about gain. Everything's about gain because everything is about trying to tap into the female in order to influence her to buy into what you want, because that's where black women think it's supposed to be. No, that's not how most communities work. Most communities work is you have a social contract that somewhere along the way, a long time ago, based on a different acculturation, people bought into it, and you have people moving on the momentum of that social contract. And so what men hold women accountable is to the social contract that they bought in, that they literally, agreed to back in the day when, like, for instance, if black people would have had a social contract that was predicated on the fucking Jim Crow. And then we were moving on the cultural momentum. We were moving up on that momentum until Jim Crow no longer was a problem, aka the Civil Rights and the Voting Rights Act of 1964, 68, the acts that were passed in 68, But then the problem is you have feminism that was designed to undercut all of that shit. So the black community never became the quote unquote patriarchy, or it never got into alignment with the rest of the country like it was supposed to be, because it was supposed to be elevated. He had the black women to basically cut that shit up from under the knees so they can basically elevate their station. And black women have been in this fucking in between quasi bullshit ever since. And they don't want to admit that. Shout out to Michael Ross for the $5 super sticker. They don't want to admit that. So what happens is black women are in this constant, remember, before shame insults, which Kevin added, it was shame, guilt that need to be right. Shame as to who they are, guilt as to what they did, they need to be right. All of that was exhibited on Shannon shit. All of that was exhibited. That's why I said it. And then the insult part was even insisted too. When people want to say, well, all you're doing is blowing smoke, and all you're doing is blowing that's what. And the reality of the situation is, here's the truth. The truth is, as long as I was saying, and this is the proof. When I was saying shit she agreed with on the last time I was on there, none of this came up. But as soon as you start disagreeing with what's being said, and it's not disagreeing because my facts are wrong, it's disagreeing because you don't emotionally agree with it. It's not about, oh well, Well, I'm saying 1 plus 1 is 7, and it's clearly not. What's being said is, I feel like this is not right because it goes against the narrative that I am comfortable with putting out. So what happens is we want to start pecking at your credibility. That's the instinct of what that goes down. You're not credible. Not because you can't override what I'm saying, but because I need to prove to you. But see, here's the problem. That doesn't create an outcome. Because what that says is your goal is not to get an outcome. Your goal is to come up with a narrative you can cope with. That's not my goal. I wish everything was it was all black men's fault because it'd be very straightforward as to how to fix it. So what happens is we get into these little arguments, and then the conversation that Shannon was talking about never really goes anywhere. What it's about is it's about people being satisfied. The truth is not going to satisfy everybody. It's not. So the question is it accurate? Or is it fucking just some fucking conversational snake oil that is designed to make people feel good? Perfect example. The dude at the end. The dude in the end, he kept on talking about, well, black men just need to show up. Black men just, all these niggas that want to talk about black men need to fight harder. Black men need to do this and do that. Black men just need to shame these women. You can't shame women and say, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man. And then they're backed by the government. Shame, they have worked for 30, 40 years to eliminate shame. You got women going on slut walks. You got women out here twerking on tables. These women can't even tell them shit. The bonnet shit that women tried to check them on, these women can't tell them shit. That's literally where we are now. But you want to say, you think you got the magical solution. The magical solution. I'm talking about this dude now. Talk about, well, we just got to shame them. We just got to show up. And then when you ask them, what does that look like? Now, keep in mind, you got dudes out here that's raised kids to adulthood. You've got raised daughters. Black Huru's got nothing but daughters still married. PGS got daughters and 2 daughters and sons with all black women. Same thing with Black Huru. So you got men that have done what he has not done. Right? Right? And even then, he's talking about, well, you got to have a I'm not trying to beat up on the dude, but I'm just saying, you got to have a family meeting. And when you have a family meeting, the men should show up once a week. I'm like, so that's your answer? We've been on this bitch 2 years, 10 years, and that's the answer you got? Are you serious? You show up to the meeting, and when you have a woman that's off the chains, then you just basically, all of y'all just talk to her. Nigga, these women they can get on a digital track and just cash out. Get cash apps. They don't need to listen to you. If they're really on that, if you're dealing with a female that's really off the hook, right? Once they are off the hook like that, it gets to a point where there's nothing you can do. And that's not being defeatist. That's a fact. You see the women now, the influence that the music has. Hell, Chloe Bailey. You see the strength of the influence, and it ain't just the government. It's the capitalistic side too, the entertainment side. Everything in them is telling you not to listen to that nigga, no matter what they do. Stepdad in the life doesn't matter. That's just every black woman. No, this is most. It just depends on the degrees. But see, the answer will never be you just let him go. He didn't want to go. He really didn't want to go that far and say you just exile them. He really didn't. And then he had to backtrack and put it to his family, which has nothing to do with women just out here. Because that may work on your family, but that doesn't work outside of that constraint. And so what happens is we come up with these solutions that don't go in there. They don't go anywhere because you got dudes that just want to hope they way through it. And see, the first tell with him in particular is he kept on saying, I feel like, feel. Damn, nigga. Can you think? That's the problem. Niggas are feeling their way through it. That's a female's domain, not a male's domain. And so that in and of itself, I already knew the answer he was going to come up with was on some bullshit. I knew that. I knew that off the jump. Why? Because he kept on saying, I feel. Not just once, not just twice. He kept on saying it. And this is not me to denigrate him. This is just about pointing that out to say, look, when you hear somebody say I feel like multiple times, the solution they're going to come out with is a solution that's really predicated on being emotionally, it's a coping solution. It's not really a solution that has practicality to it. And that's what Charles was trying to tell him. And it sounds like, we're being defeatist and we're not solution based. But the reality is the solutions are there. People just don't want the solution. Because remember, the only way you can hold women accountable is by choosing to withhold, to say you either comply or I'm going to withhold at a collective level that which I have given. But if you're not willing to do that, you really have no leverage. So this is why when Kevin talked about black men dating out, that's why he said that. Or black men opening up competition, which is what he actually said. That's why he said that. Because you have to be able to create leverage to actually leverage these females to basically acquiesce. That's not going to just happen. You're not going to morality your way past it. You're not going to emotional your way past it. You're not going to make the fucking case, especially at this point. You're not going to make it because now they're invested and they're embedded. And the other thing too, so just to say, this isn't me beating up on black women. This is me saying what it is, no matter who it comes from. Now, dialing back to the patriarchy part, I add like another part that was talked about. Was shout out to Charles Faulkner was the voting part. Was the vote, and I'm gonna talk about why I needed it came up there too. I wish you would have came up there earlier, but because it always is like one female and then it seems like the dudes are just beating up on her. Or the other thing we got to do is we got to fucking acquiesce to the female so she's being given more voting power than she should get, because nobody wants the perception of dudes are just beating up on women. And I can't stand that shit, because you got all these chicks that are afraid to really step up and talk. But that's another thing entirely. But that's another thing entirely. But the other part was this idea of voting patterns and why black men vote the way they do. And I get what Dana was trying to say. Dana was trying to say, well, if you believe that, then that means you need to deal with women. And look, I understand you talked to Judge Joe Brown, but I've listened to those conversations. You do not ask. You see, one thing about Dana is Dana doesn't ask. I've listened to her a few times. She does not ask. Devil's advocate questions. She doesn't do that. She's gonna guide the conversation in a way that she wants it to be had. She's not gonna ask devil advocate questions just to say, okay, what the detractors say. I'm gonna ask Judge Joe Brown this to get the answer. And a lot of what Judge Joe Brown says is predicated on men are just not men. But he doesn't. But see, what he doesn't say, and this is where the problem Dana would have the problem is that let's be clear here. If men were like if most black men were like Judge Joe Brown, then women like Dana wouldn't even be able to speak. She wouldn't even, it would be, and if she did, it would be, okay, you're going to speak as long as you're validating what I'm saying. But as soon as what you talk about don't make logical sense, you're out. That's how it would be. Dudes like Judge Joe Brown would not even like straight up. He may do that now because he's older, but see, when people talk about like these men's men, women have their own idea of what that is. And they always fill in these alpha dudes with them still having some control or some say so. That's not how that really works, which is one of the things that white women complain about. You don't get it both ways. And so really nothing like so really when she kept on talking about voting patterns, it's like, remember, this person's in her 40s. She couldn't understand what black men are doing emotional. Well, what drives the emotion? That's not a big enough answer. That's a nothing answer. Black people are being emotional. That's like a fill in a blank answer for anything. Why do black women do what they do? Because they're emotional. Why did I slap the shit out that bitch? Because I got emotional. That doesn't talk about intent. That doesn't talk about anything. That's this little stopgap fill in the blank answer when you don't have an answer. And I would rather you say, I don't know. But see, we can't do that because we got to maintain this facade of credibility. Because if you don't know, then you got to accept what somebody says. Because then it's obvious you're just disagreeing because you feel a certain type of way. So we got to maintain that like facade. So we just say, well, because people are being emotional. Black people do not vote Democrat just because of emotion. They don't. There is certain reasons, things that drive the emotion, which is what Democrats and black people, particularly black women, do. Black women get tangible benefits from the party, which is why black women vote for them. It is not some blind emotion. So let's cut that. Black women see their power base politically through the Democratic Party, and Black who talked about it. Dana was gone, talked about it because even though black people are assigned benefits, black it go all most money that gets from the government runs through black women because they are the custodians of the kids, which is also why black women, which is a conversation we had on another video, don't want to really give up the kids. It ain't some bullshit emotion. They don't want to give it up because they understand the kids is what is their basis for the power that they have. This is why they always compare statistics with black women compared to non-black women. Because if you compare statistics to black women with black men or females with black males, it makes no sense that black women should get these benefits because black women are not going through what black men are going through, what black boys are going through. This is also another reason why black women do not like all boys schools, which, by the way, you'll never hear Dana talk about, even though she wants to act like she's on a conservative side. They don't go into really great detail as to who is doing the what. They just make it like, oh, it's the Democratic Party. They want to keep it political because that's their way of blaming the white man for this shit. And that's a way of absolving black women of any responsibility. You will not hear Dana really acknowledge anything that black women in particular have done. What black men are fucked up in is basically letting it get this bad because black men didn't really cut off black women when they should have. Because just like hip hop, they thought it just burned the fuck out. They didn't realize how serious of a threat this was. Because again, it's their women. That's where black men fucked up. And that's where black men continue to fuck up today, which is what I said. I said that black men vote for what they perceive as black women's best interest. The only black men that are really voting Republican are black men that are voting for their own best interest. Because voting Republican does not serve black women as a collective group, which is why the shaming is so extreme. And you can talk about a Candace Owens all you want to. You can talk about a couple of black women all you want to. Let's be very clear here. At a collective level, the shaming is very, very impactful on black men because black men are much more of a threat to leave. Black women are not a threat to leave like that. Black women are voting for the Democratic Party at 95% the rate. That has not changed for the most part. That may go up, that may go down, but that still stays pretty solid when you average it out over election cycles. It is the men. And then you got to think about women across races vote more than men. So there's a lot of black men that don't vote. They don't vote because they don't believe the political system works for them. So if you got them motivated to vote and then they're not voting for you, that's adding people to the pool. And that would actually make a devastating effect because these Democrats are barely winning anyway. They're barely, so it doesn't take a lot of shifts to really keep Democrats really out. Honestly, you don't even need the women. All you need to do is really get the men on, the men in any significant percentages to vote for Republican, and the women can keep on voting for them as much as they do, and that's not, and that would still shift it. But so at the end of the day, black women vote for the Democratic Party for very different things. Sure, there's liberalism they buy into. Sure, there's intersectionality, but all of that is really the cost of basically for the benefits that black women get. And this is not just at the welfare level. This is at all. This is at all levels too. This is at all levels. That double minority status that they get in college and all that bullshit. You see it everywhere. You see it in the foundational networks. You see it every fucking where. The scholarships, Black Girl Magic, all of that stuff is funded by the same corporations Remember that 10 bill supposed 10 million or billion or whatever number of Goldman Sachs supposed to give black women, which is really long. That all is not just the government. It's a lot of different stuff, and it's designed to keep black women as a buffer class and to keep black women invested in the status quo. And this is where BGS did his work on saying, it costs more for a black woman to actually be married than it does for a black woman to be a single mother. You can't lead your way out of that, especially when you don't have the controls of power. We do not see other races in the diaspora. These are other groups, black groups. These women can't run to a white man. The men they deal with is what they have, for better or for worse. Black women have always had an ability to regulate black men through white power. And the problem is, black women want to draw from white power, but at the same time not be held accountable for it. And every single fucking one. It's just a matter of degrees. It is a matter of degrees. So you may have some women that they do it so little, it might as well not even be brought up. And then you have some women that do it so. But every single fucking woman does it, or has done it, or has been in a network that has done it. So yeah, I'm saying all. For y'all to wanna, somebody not fuck single one of y'all has done it. Every single one. What are you talking about? Where's Edward at? Press one if y'all can hear me. I know y'all can hear me. Press one if y'all can hear me. Okay. So yeah. And so we want to. So when people like to look, I'm not saying white. I'm just saying this stuff ain't in the mix. I'm not saying these things are not ingredients. But what people do is they try to make it that's the answer because black women want to rewrite history. And so they look for narrative. So when they say they don't agree, the truth is what you agree with is irrelevant. It really is. 1+1 is 2. I don't agree with that. That doesn't fucking matter. Like, and that's why they always say, I notice how they don't say you're incorrect. They just say, I don't agree. Women never say you're wrong because, see, to say you're wrong, you got to prove it. But you got to prove I'm wrong. But to say you don't agree, well, that's an opinion. So it doesn't matter in the grand scheme. It doesn't matter. Oh, I don't agree. Okay, well, you don't really have to prove why you don't agree. You can just not agree. And this is why women like to do that. And dudes do that. Remember, black people, as we have a zeitgeist of a female, the ADOS black community. So it literally, the men think like women, which is why when we have these arguments or these conversations, it a lot of times turns into that. Hold on. Shit. Where am I at? Fuck. I want to wind up in the hood. But anyway, so what you have is, and I've seen this before, you have women that they like to have these little narratives that are designed to absolve women of accountability. And this is why they're real sensitive. They won't talk about, oh, well, it sound like you just blaming all women. And I'm like, yo, the truth is the truth. Where the fuck the shoe fits is not of my concern. These things happen. Now you can try to play it, talk about, well, but at the end of the day, these things happen. They need to be acknowledged that they happen. And even Dr. Umar Johnson said that black women don't run the community. They just manage it for white men. By the fact, that is a buffer class. That's what the fuck I've been saying. I've been saying that. So these people know. You've heard pro-blacks say this. They all know. They just don't say it because if they say it, the donation money's going to dry up. And this is why because you can't solve a problem if you don't actually want to acknowledge what the problem is. So if we sit there, we just have these loop-de-loop conversations for the sake of coping, because that's what it really is. This perception that a solution is being solved and it's never really going anywhere. Well, at this point, we motherfuckers are just playing. And that conversation all can go in different ways, but it still comes back to the same thing. Let's reset the conversation and what are we going to do? And I'm like, yo, at this point, you got to make the argument that the community is even worth saving. You have, because what you're essentially asking black men to do is sacrifice a generation to correct what black women essentially did. Basically, we need to basically clean up the treachery that black women did a long time ago, and then without black women even acknowledging it ever happened. Bullshit. My answer to that is fuck community. If you all cannot acknowledge what you did, then you all don't need to be saved. You all should be left to your own fucking devices. And wherever that leads is between you all and Darwinism. That's really where I feel about it. That's really what I think about it and feel about it. So when I have these conversations, this is why I cut these conversations off a lot of times when I'm having them on social media. Because it's like, if you're going to play games, I don't even need to engage. And this is why these same women, because remember, another thing before this own shit happened was she said, it's always either these women act the way they act, with how other women act the way they act really has nothing to do with why you all act the way you do. Not having a patriarchy is not an excuse for females to be bitches. It's just not. It's just not. Because the truth is, black women wouldn't be bitches if black men would slap the shit out their ass. Y'all wouldn't. Straight like that. So this idea of, well, we act the way we act because we're, this bullshit. This is why she was being accused of being a feminist in the chat and in the comments. It's because that's the feminist rhetoric. This, we had to do what we had to do because you niggas weren't around. And she'll say, I didn't say that, but you imply it, because that's the logic tree. That's the logical steps to what you're saying. Well, we've never been a black patriarchy. We never got around to why it wasn't there. Now, the narrative she wanted to say was this is the classic, the white man removed black people from the home. The white man removed them from the home, not the white man provided the opportunity and black women took it. See, we got to skip that part. Not that, then we want to play the mass incarceration game as if, and this is where the momming starts to happen. And this happened with Courtney. And this happened with her. And these are not women that are like classical, like savages. These are not women that have the black girl attitude, like just off the rip. But that momming shit happens. You're not even the oldest one on the panel. But see, because I'm 35, when somebody thinks they can mommy me, and when I bring it up, it's like, oh, well, it's personal. No, it's not personal. I'm just letting you know what you're doing. I see what you're doing so we can be on the same page as to what you're doing. You're only 10 years older than me. I don't really have enough information over me just off of years to really pull the momming card. You don't. And women will resent that if dudes do that to them. That's what they call male splaining or mansplaining, right? And then it's like you're not even accurate. You're not even accurate. You're taking the narratives and you're basically taking out key details that, by the way, I know you know. I know you know these details. If you know this much, then you know all of it. You know details because it's kind of like it's like reweaving history, but taking little key parts out to change the whole narrative. Every time black women actually made a decision that needs to be removed, because we have to make it like we're together, because I want to preserve the resources and benefits I've gotten in this status that we're in now, this lack of patriarchy, but I want the benefits of a patriarchy. So I pretend like I'm really cool with that, but I don't want any of the negative things that come with a patriarchy, like this controlling aspect, this you're going to get vetoed aspect. You're going to get what you want is not what matters aspect, which is the very reason why black women got black men out of the house in the fucking first place. Because, see, women want to be protected. They don't want the children to be protected from them. And this is not, I'm talking about in general. In general. And so you get people to fit that narrative. But that's all it is. It's a narrative. It's not what happened. It's key details left out. Yes, the crack era happened. Yes, mass incarceration happened. But what doesn't get said is that black women were the crack era, you see it in the culture today. Black women were actively fucking drug dealers. And they do it today. Talking on YouTube, it's, oh, well, I'm with this D-boy and that D-boy. The culture that we deal with today that's fucked up stemmed through that. So I'm not saying that black women are the reason the crack era happened, but they actively drove it and they actively preserved that culture based on the type of men that they want. This is where the single motherhood bullshit came up. And black men amplified the stepfather game And this is why stepfathers is disrespected, and why millennials are not playing that game with black women. Which is why there's a stigma on being a single mother today. That wasn't always the case. That was the case after black males saw how disrespected black men were for doing that shit by the women and the children that they helped to raise. All this stuff doesn't happen in a vacuum. And the other thing she was trying to say, oh, well, you're just talking. You're saying a lot of nothing. You saying a lot of nothing. You really think because you're a woman that what you say counts. Because you got a vagina, then what you say counts. That's a matriarchal mindset. Like, seriously, if you actually go look at that video, once stuff got a little testy and everything stopped being a grid, the matriarch came out. I do. They interweave, but they're not the same thing. That's what that was. That's all that was. That's where that mommying came from. Other dudes out. Kosher didn't want to be the asshole, but Kosher saw it too. He was just trying to thread the needle. Shannon didn't want to be an asshole either. But Shannon, Shannon trying to make it about everybody. Shannon was talking to you because you was the only one really doing that. Just like when she got mad at BGS. I don't need you to believe you, and the Northeastern accent came out. It doesn't take a lot to bring it out. And then, what do the women do? The women in the back, in the chat, they emotionally empathize because that's the gynocracy. Oh, well, you're mean, you're this, you're that. Shannon would not have let me be mean-spirited and, like, go fully automatic on her. He would not allow that to happen. Shannon cut that off with airtime, with Charles. Shannon is not going to allow that. So this Shannon is not going to allow me to go fully automatic on her or something like that. So again, it's this emotional shit. And the reality is men are not supposed to give a fuck about women's emotions. They're not. But ultimately, the reason why this stuff is important, why is this important? Why is it important for women to acknowledge the stuff that they did? And then I'm going to transition in when Juanita called in. It's because there is no trust is not a renewable resource. Black men don't trust black women. Black men just don't know nothing else but to acquiesce to what black women want. And see, this is another thing she keeps saying. She kept on wanting to say that that's not what black men are doing. Yes, it is. And I know you know that's what it is. I'm not talking about the niggas you have dealt with sexually. I'm talking about as a group. I am not talking about the men you have had sex with or kids with. I'm talking about as a group. That's what I'm talking about. The group dynamic. One of the reasons she was pushing back on that, I know, but she's probably talking about her, the people she's dealt with. They don't do what the fuck I say. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about at the collective level. Because then it becomes about these black girls. And the voting is a collective thing. So yes, they do what's in the interest of black people at the expense of what black men's personal interests are. You see that in almost every area of activity. Black men are always acquiescing to black women. And to pretend that that's not there, come on. I'm not even going to say like nothing crazy. I know you know that's not true. Now you can talk to me like you don't know. I know you know that's not true. I know you know that's not true. That's why she was quick to jump on me when I said, well, black people vote. She kept on wanting to say this emotional. The difference between you and me is I've looked into the why black people do what they do. I don't stop at black people are emotional because that doesn't answer anything. And then the other thing, when I ended when I left, I said, okay, if you want black people or black men in particular to vote Republican, these things have to be addressed. You can't just say issue. Well, then she said, well, it's not my job for them to vote for them to get black people to vote, I guess, Republican. Well, my thing is that's not a concern. People's political views are not a concern of mine. It's really not. It's really not. Because the problem really is not Democrats. The problem is really liberalism. But that's not a concern of mine. I'm saying you're the one talking about you want the outcome of black people to not vote for the Democratic Party. So if you want that outcome, it behooves you to figure out why they do it. And to be honest with that, but if you don't really care and it's just something that you want to argue against, because that validates the narrative as to why black women are based, they don't have a patriarchy or whatever, because black men won't do what they need to do. Well, then that's a narrative you're gonna keep on going. But see, at this point, the urgency comes in. The Z's are not even dealing with black women no more. The Z's are not dealing with black women anymore. They are not. And another thing I'm gonna tell you about these Z's, like, cause we started the video with this female slapping this dude. Like, the thing about it is, I can't really, I put myself, I make sure I've never hit a woman. And there's times where I should have there's times I should have knocked the living shit out of my cousin. My cousin, I've gotten whooped because of the lies my cousin has told on me. Straight up. That I've actually proven were 100% lies. Not know my story, they story. My older cousin, by the way. But I've never hit a woman. But I'm going to tell you, one of the reasons why I've never hit a woman is because I'm very careful of the type of women I deal with and the women I'm around. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if a female would have tapped me on the face like that, my hand is on her throat in less than a millisecond. My hand is on her throat and she's against the wall. And I'm going to say, if you fucking touch me again, the cops won't get here fast enough. Trust me. And this will not be a surviving Edward story that you tell. I'm telling you right the fuck now. And then I'm leaving. I'm not even giving her the opportunity to touch me again. I'm not even giving her that opportunity. Because when I say what I say, I mean what I say. And I'm going to tell you, I was getting very angry. I'm glad I was not on camera. Because I was getting I was getting angry seeing that. And I'm going to tell you, honestly, Shannon, he really shouldn't have played that. Because I was actually getting very angry about that. And I chilled out once he cut that video off, but I was mad. Because I'm gonna keep it real with you, the truth. I would have fought that nigga. I would have fought that nigga. And I'm gonna tell you why I would have fought that nigga. Because the nigga that got hit, Edward, why would you fight the nigga that got hit? Because what I would have said, I said, bitch, stop hitting him. What the fuck is wrong with you, you stupid bitch? How would you like if I break your fucking nose? And then she would have been like, then he would have been like, nigga, that's my wife. And then I would have had to fight that nigga. That's what would have happened. And I said, man, nigga, then y'all both need to leave. Because, nigga, I'm not about to sit here and watch your ass get hit and this bitch be on her phone. Because I would have took her phone and probably broke it. See, and I know how I am. So I'm around black women that don't play like that. Now, when women got a right to say what the fuck they want to say, I give women, even though I give women a room, they can say my mama's a bitch. They can say whatever. Women have a right to say whatever they want to say out their fucking mouth and lay a hand on them. I may leave, but I won't lay a hand on them. So I don't think dudes should lay a hand on women no matter what they say. I give them that right as women to say that. But once you cross that Rubicon, no. No. And I'm going to leave. I'm not going to do something that's going to get me to go to jail, but I'm going to leave. But I will tell you, if you get enough close to me that you put your hands on me, that's not going to be me just leaving. You're gonna feel that shit. You're gonna understand the power, cause see, that doesn't help. Cause that bitch will go to the next nigga and do that. That's why I tell you niggas that y'all be letting these chicks hit you with 2x4s and shit, Spargo. Y'all need to stop fucking with women like that. Because when you go, cause you're gonna go to jail. Cause eventually they're gonna hit you at a moment where you really are not, your self-control is not really there. This is why when these women get their ass whooped, they be crying. I don't really, because I'm like, what you do? Let me hear the whole story before I render judgment. And yes, there's dudes out there that be whooping on women and they need to be dealt with. But that's the story that everybody likes to make. It was the other. But man, like, seriously. But anyway, that led into this conversation. And it's like, and this is where we are now. Like, black women, you would never see a black female do that with any other race of man or any other black man in the diaspora because they know what's coming. Even that little tap, even that shit, my hand would have been on your fucking throat. And if you would have smiled like you like it, I would have got the fuck away from you. Because I was, okay, this is who you are. Now, granted, I don't typically put myself in proximity of females like that. Even women that are more on the hood side. So I don't have that issue. This is why I promote Love Dorsey. Because women like Love Dorsey not dumb like that. Shout out to the $2 super sticker. Why do so many criminals come from black women's room? I mean, criminals come from white wombs too. They just don't get accused of being of a crime. So there's that. But yeah, and then we're like, let's have a conversation. And this is where I got to give Lead Attorney a credit when he checked that shit. Because I would love for the Lapeef Network to play that video and then to say the same stupid shit that Kate and Courtney was saying. So that's what you want black men to do? You want them to sit there, and we're not even going to talk about the social media humiliation. We're not even going to talk about that. I don't give a fuck if that nigga got caught fucking a bitch. I don't give a fuck if that nigga got caught with his dick in a white bitch's throat. I don't care I don't care what he did. If he ain't hit you, I don't care what he did. But see, men would just sit there and let her do that. I would tell my friends straight up, you do realize we gonna fight. Because you gonna have to protect her, and then I'm gonna have to beat your ass. Because I'm not about to sit here and let no bitch do that. I wouldn't let no man hit no woman, and I ain't gonna let no woman love tap no nigga either. Not in no party or close setting like that. Now, if we talking about you just walking in the street and I don't know nobody, okay, fine, that's their problem. I'm not worried about that, and that goes both ways. But if it's somebody like I know, and then we're like in a party and we're in a house, and then you doing that, no, you're not pulling. I'm like, bitch, what's wrong with you? Because if I say shit out you gonna have a problem. If I do the same thing to you, you're gonna have an issue. You know how I know? Because I've done it. I've tapped the woman like what she did. And I'm going to tell you, let me tell you a secret about tapping a woman on their face like that. There is an instant and immediate reaction every time. I used to have this little joke. How do you piss a woman off in less than a millisecond? Boop. And then they get mad and they want to fight. So let me be very clear here. And trust me, the shit she was doing wasn't, she was trying to humiliate him. Because she was trying to make a point. But my point is, if a woman would have socked me in my mouth, if she would have actually landed, I'm the type of nigga, you grab a bitch's ass and she punch you and break your nose, nigga, you got to take that with it. You grabbed her ass. Do I believe grabbing a bitch's ass is sexual assault? No. But do I believe that she has a right to retaliate on your ass, kick you in the nuts at least one good time? Not saying it like, I'm not saying you should just let her kick you, but if she hits you with immediate reaction, no, you ain't got no right to hit her. You grabbed her in the ass. If you do something and then they slap the shit out you don't get to dictate how somebody wants to respond. Now, is there the overkill? Yes, of course there's overkill. But you get what I'm saying. So if one of them chicks would have landed a punch and took my tooth out or something, guess what? I'm going to be like, damn. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not lying about that. Because I remember there was a situation where I was on the school bus when I was in high school, and I grabbed a dude's money. And when I say money, it was a New Yorker who had a wad of 20s, and he was counting it. And this dude was like my height. It was cool. His name's Harvey. Cool dude. Cool dude. And then I grabbed his money. I grabbed it. I didn't take it. I just put my hands on it. And immediately he bopped me. He bopped me in the nose. And the thing what he didn't know is I got a slight open vein in my nose. So like my nose, when it bleeds, goddamn, it bleeds. When I say it bleeds, it gushes damn near. And he was so scared. Because I took the hit. I ate it. Because he didn't hit me hard. But he hit me in the right spot. And he didn't even do nothing to my nose. But he was like, oh my God, we're in the back of the bus. And it got to the point where we're quickly, because I knew what I did. I touched his money. And no, money is not a metaphor. I touched his money that he was counting. He made sure he put his money in his back pocket to protect it. But he was like, damn, man. He ended up taking his shirt off so I could put it on my nose so I could kind of stop the bleeding because he didn't want to get in trouble. And I mean, I was like, appreciate it. We were good. I wasn't even mad at him for hitting me because he hit me once. And I touched it. It was like $1,000. I would have did the same shit. So I knew what the fuck I did. So it wasn't like, oh, nigga, I can't believe you hit me. Now, if he would have kept hitting me, I might have got mad. But he didn't just spook. And then he didn't even hit me hard. It was just like, damn, like you hit me in the right spot. Fuck, nigga. And then, because he really thought, because he knew if I wanted to, like, pretend, oh my God, this nigga hit me, but oh my, that nigga would have been fucked. Because he was a year older than me. He knew he would have been fucked. But I didn't do that because I knew what I did in the moment. And I accepted the consequences that came with me touching this dude's paper. That's what it is. Just like a bitch tried to take my Jordan jersey one time and I pushed her in the fucking thorn bushes. Because she thought she was slick. And her boyfriend tried to get mad at me. I said, what you want to do? You want to get your bitch out of the thorn bushes? Or you want to fight me and potentially get your ass whooped? And this bitch is crying. That was when I was young. I was like in 7th grade, when the 6th grade when that happened. So there's consequences. And women don't want them. And this is why did I bring that up? Because this comes back to, the whole conversation. Women are trying to actively avoid, like, what happened. And so what happens is we play this game about not agreeing and all of this, and you try to override and play Game of Thrones with the conversation and go to kosher, trying to undercut, go to the host. This is something black women always, this is why black men always say they don't want black women in the spaces in the manosphere. Because it's the game they do. Just like with Courtney, when she want to say, oh, non-black women fetishize you, and then say she didn't say it on Obsidian. This is the games that they play. We hold dudes accountable for doing the same goofy shit. But women think they should be given a pass. And I don't have a personal issue with Dana. Like I said, I've listened to her stuff. She said some good shit. But at the same time, she still tries to craft these narratives like a lot of them do. And the problem with these narratives is they're not going to fix the issue. It's not. It's just going to keep the shit loop-de-loop because it feels good. Make sure y'all support the Cash App. No. Go to the video and watch it. Listen to it. And then you had Juanita came one year, and this is when Charlton was on. And she asked. Generally, you get one question. She asked a question about how Black Wall Street got built. BGS educated her on that, and she accepted the answer. So it was a legitimate question she was asking. And she acknowledged a lot of the stuff that we were saying, but then she wanted to get into the how-to you check black women. And the truth is, Shahrazad Ali has gone as far as anybody could really go. Iana Van Zam tried. You cannot check black women unless you can enforce punishable consequences to them. That's a fact. So really, black women don't really need black men except in their later years. To keep it all the way 100, so black women could go from 0 to 50 without ever really needing or giving a fuck about black men. That's human nature. But see, here's the thing. Black men don't got to deal with them. This is why I'm a proponent of we got to earn each other. Because if you notice, and this is why I told her just like I told Courtney. I said, you notice how you're saying everything is in your best interest. You notice how that's going to be, of course it's going to be in your best interest to tell black men, because Dana kept on wanting to harp on, oh, well, if you don't fix yourself, dealing with other women ain't gonna fix that problem for you. Well, guess what? That's between black men. That's black men's cross to bear. That's not your cross. So the real argument was, well, what she was doing, what she was basically invalidating what black women do. Basically saying that the shit that black women do, other women would do it to you, because the truth is black women do it because you ain't shit. That's really what she was saying. That's essentially where that logic tree goes. When you say that, and she was making it like, if you can't deal with black women, that's because really the problem is you. So of course it's in your best interest to say that. But this is why I tell black women, black women would never tell a black man, go date out. Because here's the truth, she doesn't really believe that. She doesn't believe that for the majority of black men. Because the truth is, if she believed that, she would have no problem. She wouldn't say it that way. What she would say is, go ahead and date out. And I mean it. She wouldn't do the, well, I believe it's you. Just like how I say, I don't add in, oh, because the problem's you. I say go ahead and date out. Go ahead and date out. Why are you arguing? Not her, but I mean, why are black women saying black men don't build, black men don't do this, black men don't do that? Why don't you go get men that are going to do that for you? Why don't you do that? Why don't you go get men? Why don't you go get men that are going to do what you're saying black men do not do? Why don't you just do that and be done with it? Because you saying black men ain't shit ain't gonna change black men from not being shit. You saying what black men don't do is not gonna convince black men to all of a sudden start doing it. You're not gonna shame, insult, guilt, and need to be right black men to doing what they're not doing. What you're gonna do with black men is you're basically cutting their nuts off. Emasculating black men has never been an effective tool at getting black men to do what they want, because the dudes that have sexual access are just not gonna fuck with you. The dudes that are in a relationship with you are just gonna cheat, or they're just gonna move on and get in a relationship with somebody else because they're gonna see you as the problem. That has never been an effective tool, but black women love using it. And the dudes that can't get somebody else, all you're doing is cutting them down. And so you don't get what you need to get out of them. And so now it's to a point now where these Z's aren't even dealing with black women like that no more. They're not. Not in no very real way. And people want to ignore that problem, but that is an issue. Hold on. And so this thing about when you say just date out, I invite you to be free. I say because the reason why I say that with black women is because black women like to create this narrative that they don't date out because there's this specter of black men that are keeping them from dating out. That's bullshit. Black women don't date out because black women understand that they don't have the same leverage in out the community they have in the community. They know that. So, but I say at this point, if you're gonna say black men are like this, it's no point even wasting the time. Black men don't have a patriarchy. Okay, cool. Go to men that do have a patriarchy. If you want the benefits of a patriarchy, I invite you to do that. You don't even gotta not date black. You date intercultural, but they're not gonna do that. They are not going to do that. So this is why you say that. But you will never hear black women say date out. Now they'll say, oh yeah, I said date out. I just added in the fact. Nah, but they don't really mean it. They don't really mean for you to go see for yourself. They say that just so they could, save face to say that they said it. So they can say, well, I said the words, but just like how women say, I don't care if black men date out. I just don't want you to talk about black women. They don't want you to date out. They don't want you to leave because they understand that if you leave, most likely you're not coming back. That's not true as much for black women because black women got to give up a lot of shit in order. Black women got to give up a lot of shit in order to be qualified to date out. That's if they ever are. Sorry. So anyway, that's my little rant, my little spiel. That's my little spiel. Woo! Shout out to Charles. What y'all talking about? What are you all talking about? And kudos to y'all for not like hiding people that disagree. Y'all definitely listen to that. So I appreciate that. Shout out to Splatterhouse, Hybrid Ninja, Quentin Jackson, Darnell, Will I R, Kevin, Michael Ross. Appreciate the $5 sticker again. Just Queen, Afro Shop. Bitch, shut up. I'm promoting violence. What I'm hands on a man, you deserve to get your ass whooped. You could quote me on that. You want to not get your ass whooped? Don't put your hand on a man. The end. Just like if you put your hand on a female's gonna whoop your ass. Shut the fuck up talking about I'm promoting violence on women. Bitch, I'ma leave that. I'm not, don't even delete that. Leave that comment just so you know how much of a fuck I don't give about you saying that. So you promoting violence on women? You stupid bitch. You go look at that video. Go look at that video and Shannon of that black female smacking that dude over and over and over again. And then I ask you this. If a female would have smacked you and put it on social media and did a social media live and kept doing this shit, what the fuck would you have did? Shut the fuck up. So you promoting violence against women? Anybody, male or female, that's bold enough to put their hands on another individual, like I said before, you have a right to say whatever you want to say, no matter how fucking flagrant it is, and nobody touch you. But anybody, once you pass that Rubicon, you are no longer a female, you are a threat. And just like another one, so don't touch dudes, you won't get hit. It's really that simple. Now, if you can't understand that, you want to call that promote against women, then you just admitted to me you have no critical thinking skills and your IQ is low. And in that, I feel sorry for you. I love these hoes that they randomly come in these fucking spaces and then they want to, oh, you're promoting violence against women. You heard exactly what the fuck I said, how I said it, when I said it. Bitch, shut the fuck up. The problem with Twitter, man, the problem with Twitter is Twitter will suck you into they bullshit. And the only purpose why I would get on Twitter is to find dudes I could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Kind of like on my comment strategy, comment to 10,000 followers strategy. That's the only reason I would get on Twitter. And why are you retracting your messages? What part of do men play in the failure of the community? Um I'll answer that question. Where black men failed is not replacing black women as soon as they betrayed us. Black men should have went on the intercultural route, and we should, like, by the time it got to my age, but we should have had a culture of basically dealing with black women across the diaspora in order to expand the options. So if a black female won't operate under what the fuck we want, they would have been replaced. That's where black men failed. What black men did was basically cater to black women's bullshit and allow black women to basically destroy the children, to create thought culture and a lot of other bullshit. And black men failed to separate. That's where black men failed. So I would ask you, queen, just queen. Everybody's got to be called a fucking queen. Ask you, where do you think black men failed? Because ultimately, black women are the ones raising the kids. Black women are the ones that basically chose welfare. Black women are the ones that kick black men out of the home. Your reasons for that is irrelevant. Because prior to you all doing that, the families were very strong and intact. So my question to you is, where in your opinion did black men fail? Because I just mapped it out. Because there is nothing, let me be very clear here so you understand everything I say. There is nothing that men have done that justifies what black women have done. Nothing. Nothing, 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 nothing. Nothing. Because if it was really that bad, y'all would have found other men. The end. All these women, like, they come on, like, I'm not the channel for you coping. This is the last channel for that. Women come in here and they just start saying the bullshit. Women and men. Y'all know it's equal opportunity smoking this bitch. I can't believe you're promoting violence against women. Shut the fuck up. Why are you all like, it's like you all see the problem? Here's the thing. If you all are gonna comment actually ask me, okay, asking me a question is fine, but don't fucking come up with these typical black female, these little black female comments. Do better. Oh, well, just blame all women. Blame this, blame that. Well, bitch, what the fuck? Let me do this. What is it? What show? Okay, because this is what black women do. You notice you never, ever, ever hear black women acknowledge anything that black men say. So give me one thing that black women legitimately did to fuck up the community. Go. Can you give me one thing? Because the way I see it is saying one thing a black woman did is saying everything a black woman did. Can you give me one thing that a black female did, the black women did as a group to fuck up the community? Go. Because I don't think you can give even one thing or acknowledge anything that I've said. Because there is a wide spectrum between blaming all women and basically saying this is where what women have done to basically fuck the shit up. Shout out to Giagami. Y'all kill me with that shit. This all but nothing bullshit. This all or nothing bullshit. Y'all are like children. And y'all all do it. It doesn't matter. Y'all all do the bullshit. I told you in the beginning of this video, I don't give a fuck about your emotional shit. I don't. I don't have this thing, well, I need to say what I need to say so black women feel good. No. Off a roof if you don't like what I said. I don't care. And it's the same thing I say with black men. Nigga, you're on a channel in which I actively say black men are dumb. Black men are dumb. You actively see me say that. Because they still want to find hope. They want to find, you're like fucking Padme Amidala. Fucking dying after the nigga choked your ass. They're still good in her. These are my last words. They're still good in her. I can feel it. They're still good in her. You dumb nigga. It's only some for my last breath. They're still good in her. So nigga, so I stay jumping on black men. And I said it on that video with that a video. That dude fucked up because that dude married a bitch like that on the violence thing. It's like, nigga, you married this. This is not the first time she did this to you. So you only get so much sympathy from me. Like, damn, nigga, you married that. You had a baby with that. That shit would never get that far. As soon as I see you do that with somebody else, I'm like, oh no, this bitch is not gonna be around me because I know what I'm gonna do. And then now you want to promoting violence against women. Let's be honest. You believe that women have the right to be violent against men. Just say that. That way I know where you stand. Oh my god. Well, with women, it's either it's all black men's fault or it's all my fault. They don't understand nuance. They can troll. They have a right to troll as long as they ain't saying crazy off the chain shit. Leave them alone. No excuses for man your ass up, bitch. Get a life. This is probably the only engagement with men you ever get. Fucking antisocial. You notice how these hoes never get on, won't get on a panel and say this bullshit because they'll sound dumb as fuck. Man up. Man up. This is sign language. Man up. Bitch, why don't you go somewhere? We're obviously men enough for you to feel comfortable being around us. The first thing I said, bitch, what you agree with doesn't matter. That's that matriarchy shit. You actually believe that, like, what you agree with, like, that means something. As if you're the fucking inspector on what I say. Oh well, this is the first thing I can certify. But you got all these like women really need to y'all need to get over yourselves. That narcissistic bullshit is real. First thing you said, I agree with. Yeah, these women. Well, I don't have. I'm on I'm on my phone. Like I can't open it because this is not StreamYard. Because I've been fighting against restoring my phone, but I'm gonna have to restore it. I know I'm gonna have to restore this bitch. Now, I wouldn't say she was disrespectful. I mean, she's from the Northeast, so you got to take that with what that was. And honestly, she's solid for somebody. She could have been worse. I wouldn't say she was disrespectful, but I'm still gonna call the plays as they were being ran. Black women have made too many sacrifices for the community. Okay, Lady Tree, what sacrifices? Give me an example of a sacrifice that black women have made for the community. Because there's nothing that black women have done that hasn't been in their own self interest. So give me a sacrifice. A sacrifice qualifies as something that is not in black women's self interest and cannot be seen as a selfish act that benefits them. Stop talking the shit and actually give me an example of that. Give me one. All I ask is one. All I ask is one. That's it. So if you want to use sacrifices as plural, then surely it shouldn't be difficult for you to find me one. Or you're gonna pretend like the phone doesn't work and you don't hear that part. They're still good in her. That's how them niggas sounded on Kevin Samuels shit. Don't open it up. They're still good in there. We can still save them. Mommy. Mama, mama, like a fucking Bambi Disney commercial. You dumb niggas, stupid niggas. And these are the same niggas that tell you we just gotta hold them accountable. But I don't know how. We just gotta find a way. How do you hold them accountable? Go low cast. Crack that whip. What the fuck does that mean? You just gotta crack it. God damn it. You mean beat her ass? No, you just gotta crack that whip. What does that mean? Then this is when my voice, I sound like a female. That's when he said what he said. And then that was the end of me talking to his ass. You gotta crack that whip, goddamn it. You just gotta do it. And that's what these niggas always do. They always talk about hold women accountable. You ask them how, they don't know. But they don't want to say they don't know. That should be funny to me. Especially Charles at the end when dude tried to explain the shit he was playing. I was laughing my ass off. I'm like, this nigga really thinking what he said is significant. Bless his heart. I'm still waiting for that answer, Lady Tree. Well, no, the stupid decisions that black men make is in tolerating a lot of the bullshit black women do. That's the decision. A lot of the problems black men stem from is black men tolerating black women, and that's why black men are dumb. That's why I say that. By the way, I mean, fuck what she's made, Charles. I'm just asking her name a sacrifice any black woman has made, cause she want to talk about all these sacrifices. These hoes don't know. They just say shit. They just say shit. They just say shit because raising your damn kids is one after you abandon them, Lady Tree. They're not, first of all, keep this real. You don't have these kids for a dude. You have these, no, first of all, that's the first time I've heard a black woman say your damn kids. What do you typically hear black women say? My child, my child, my child. Not our child, my child, my child. That's my child. You all raise the kids because kids give you access to government benefits. They give you access to tax rebates. That's why you have the motherfuckers. Remember, you're talking about the women that have more abortions by count than even though they're 6% of the fucking population. Or to be fair, we'll say 12, 13% if we're talking about a population of women. Let's keep that all the way 100. So when you have these children, you are having them for selfish reasons. I told you about that selfish shit. You don't have our kids. You have kids you fucking want to have. Because if you don't want to have them, you flushing them like it ain't. So that does not count. And the fact that that's the first thing you say shows me you don't really have an answer. I knew you was gonna go to that. I just didn't want to shut that down in the front. Raising your damn kids. Get the fuck out of here. Since when are they my kids? Usually you talk about that's my child. Oh, he was a sperm donor. I wanted the baby, not the man. So no, that's not a sacrifice. Next, do better. I knew you was gonna pull that bullshit. You all have the choice to abort these kids. So a kid is born because you want them. So cut the bullshit. And then she said all like in all caps, like you really saying something significant. Shut up. Oh my God, you're bashing black women. You're bashing black women. Oh my God, you hate black women. God, shut up. And anybody that's been on this channel long enough, you know good damn well that I give smoke to dudes too. Appreciate Jody. If y'all are entertained, make sure y'all support the Cash App then. Yeah, shameless plug. Talking about we raise your children. Bitch, our kids can't even. Bitch, our boys can't fucking read. The fuck are you doing? And truth be told, there's a couple of chicks that are starting to kill these damn kids. Even though obviously that's not the majority, but that reading shit is. Niggas can't read, so what are you doing? Even if I give you your argument, you're doing a hell of a job raising them. This is when Smurgo bringing the criminal shit comes into play. Raising the criminals of tomorrow. Kudos to black female sacrifices. Black men abandon their children. I'm not even going to argue that shit. Because you know what? If black women believe, then that makes black women stupid for having. Look, man, you had Cynthia G said we're gonna black male babies. I'm like, not, you stupid bitch. You gotta let black men nut in you first. So yeah, black men will love to still have sexual access with you, and you abort them motherfuckers. Because guess what? They don't want a financially transmitted disease. What is a financially transmitted disease? You ask. A financially transmitted disease is a disease that's gotten when you get put on child support by a bitch you don't want to have kids with. So we're cool. We're perfectly fine with you aborting kids. Shout out to BGS Igbar. Y'all kill me with that white. You know, it took me a minute to realize that's what y'all was saying, white. I was like, why are y'all constantly saying YouTube? Because that's how, when I use Y and T, that's what I use it for, YouTube. Why are y'all keep saying YouTube? What the fuck? I was like, oh, they're saying white. Oh. Support that cash out. Dollar sign Allen 100K, ALLEN 100K. Baltimore City schools have 10 commissioners, 5 of which are black women. See what they write. I mean, absolutely, man. But you know, black women are. It's not a matriarchy. It's not a gynocracy. Lady Tree, you know, in all caps. Anderson, grow a pair, please. I'm doing something for the community. Oh my God, the sign language is great. She actually believes she's saying something. I'm not building shit. Why don't you go get you the nearest non-black man and get him to build for you if you're fucking worth building? I invite you to go do that. Go get you a non-black man or go get you an African like Tasha K did and get them to build for you. I mean, shit, Eve got a $60 million man, so you can do it. Let's troll. Let's troll. That sounds like Optimus Prime. The community! What y'all don't understand about a community is the community is designed to serve men, not women. The reason why a community is created is in order to create benefits for the women complying with the men. So the community is made in our image. The problem is that black women fucked that up, and now y'all want to tell niggas to build. Like, how stupid can you be being on some random YouTuber channel talking about building? See, this is why black women don't. This is why y'all got all these femininity courses and shit, because y'all don't know how to get men and do what the fuck you want. What did I just say in this old stream? Black women only know how to emasculate a man and not inspire a man. So she wants to use sign language and then tell me to build. This is what these hoes really say to men in real life. They shame them and they think these niggas are gonna do what they say, and then they wonder why they ain't got shit. They wonder why other races of women are able to pillage, get in their men and raid them. Because you all have set the bar so low, all they gotta do is fucking recycle, and niggas are out here crying. A woman says, I'm sorry, and the nigga's talking about, I need to marry this female. She's the one. This is the shit you did. Shout out to Xanatos Clutch, and the 12% of black boys who can read are seen as a threat by the community and are treated worse than rapists and cheaters. That is funny. It's funny, Xanatos. I would pin that good. Lady T sounds like a baby. I mean, whatever. She's she asked me to. This entertainment wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. So you all should thank her. All right, y'all. I'm about to head back. Let's see. Let me see. Some people with the Cash App. Appreciate Bennett with the $5. Tell him, Ed. God, raising my bills. I hate that email talking about your promotional period is over. Now we about to charge your ass, nigga. You about to pay for everything. I don't even give a fuck. I mean, I take what people say at face value. Anyway, that's some good lemonade. How many viewers are we at? I don't even know. I can't even see it. 19. Make sure y'all get the likes up. Yeah, I mean that shit is goofy. And see what's funny is now that the Z's are not even talking to their ass no more, that sound language don't matter if ain't nobody fucking with you to begin with. That's the problem. The problem is, and see, it's all where you're bashing, you're doing this, you're doing that. No, I'm trying to highlight like all this bullshit that y'all want to do because y'all got ego and all this bullshit. Y'all need to drop that shit. This little bravado, this constantly telling me to grow a pair. You tell a non-black man to grow a pair, he gonna slap the shit out your ass. This is why y'all always getting bopped by other races of men. Because y'all start to get stupid and think y'all can talk to other dudes like that, and then when other dudes just snap on your ass, y'all like, I don't know what happened. Protect all women. Oh, you finally heard that, Reginald? Listen from behind. Yeah, protect. It's still good in her. We can still save her. Them niggas got the simp playlist. Let's see. Let's nigga. What's on the simp playlist? Everybody. What's on the gynocentric lost cause nigga playlist? You got Dear Mama. You got to add that. You got to add Mario Winans. I don't wanna know if you playing me. Keep it on the low. You got that one. You got Mario. You should let me love you. Let me be the. That shit killed me. I was in high school. That shit came out. I ain't gonna lie though. I like the beat. I hated the song, but I like the beat. I said I'm getting the instrumental, but fuck this shit. And then that's like nigga, that's the friend zone anthem right there. You should let me love you, let me be the one to give me all the things you want. And somebody should do a PMV. Somebody should do what they call them. They call them porn music videos. And then they should just do video clips of black female just getting ran through, trains, smutted out, all of that, and then you put that song in their background. And then you go into like you know how they have kind of like a block kind of like a fog video where you're showing like kind of like it's faded out, but just showing him talking and the bitch just getting smutted out, and then Ramil doing the pump and dump dance. Did Drake stole? Who? What else should we add? You gotta ask. You know they say she says she's just a. He says she's just a friend. Rest in peace. You gotta add him in there. You gotta add um let me see. Neo. You know she got her own. Oh, she got her own. You gotta add that bullshit. I'm pretty sure we could put together like 20 tracks, and these niggas be listening at it, be like, "Yo, man, this is life right here." That it's still good in her music. That I still believe music. One of them niggas was on Kevin said he said, "Yeah, man, I know, but that don't mean we should give up on him though." That nigga sounded desperate as hell. That nigga was trying to fight that logic. That nigga was trying to fight that logic like somebody trying to fight going to the dark side. Yeah, I'll pay your rent. You must enjoy getting hurt. I ain't gonna lie, I've listened to that song more than I should admit to. It had a good beat. Yeah. It's time plus 99. He said, you don't even know what you're worth. Like, damn, Mario. Cause Mario wasn't like that until he did that song. That fucked this song. That fucked his career up. Cause remember, that's when Chris Brown was Chris Brown, but like when Chris Brown was really at his apex, you had everybody who was trying to get in where they fit in, and Mario had some hits that were bigger than some other one. Yeah, what's some good rap, some new rap shit. Yeah, so yeah, you just gotta. Oh yeah, we'll do some simp. So I'm in love with a stripper, or it ain't tricking if you got it. You know, we gotta fill it out, fill out the playlist. That you should let me love you. 'Cause that's what niggas said. I can't do it no more. And the women didn't give a fuck about that shit. Cause you should let me love you. Let me be the one. That shit. Oh man. On any like if YouTube didn't do the copyright shit, like real talk, I would have. In fact, one day what I might do is I might actually make that a soundbite and then just do the instrumental, and then every time somebody say some simp shit, you be like, you do the and then that's inside joke. Every time somebody do some say some simp bullshit, you be like, and they be like, what was that? I don't know. I don't know what the fuck that was. My bad. Yeah, man, but you gotta save these. We gotta hold up. I can be an asshole if I want to be. Like y'all really haven't seen. So that's why motherfuckers talk about, yeah, nigga, I dated. So many niggas don't like Edwin on. Nigga, y'all don't know the half of the shit. Like if I ever really got to a situation where I started really showing more of my personality, a lot of y'all niggas want to fight want to whoop my ass. You think niggas don't like me now? It's like niggas be like, yeah, man, but you poor. I be like, nigga, you're poor. Nigga, money doesn't matter. Nigga, you're poor. Just say it, you're poor. Shut up. You're poor. I used to do that. Fucking nigga, you're poor. Don't talk. You're poor. Shut up. You're poor. you're poor. Niggas be getting mad. You're poor. Not you're broke. Nigga, you're poor. You are poor. Shut up. You are poor. Shut up. Obviously, we ain't even tapping into the 90s. You know, the 90s were the heyday of synth music. That was just 2000 and on up. Absolutely, Xanatos. Same way. Rick Ansley never want to give you up. Yeah, that's a good one. See, we ain't even going into that. Like I ain't even dipped into the 90s. I just was talking about the 2000s, which was like the residual aftermath of the synth music. We go in the 90s, man. We could create whole catalogs. Some of these folks got whole albums. Like Keith Sweat, like they got whole albums that ain't nothing but synth music. Anyway, appreciate it, y'all. Mr. Research used to talk about that. When black men were making love music, black women were basically making remember that, heartbreak, that music, like when Whitney Houston wanted to, heartbreak hotel, even though she was with Bobby Brown the whole time, she don't want to put Bobby Brown on drugs, like real, like hard drugs. They said heartbreak hotel, and then, oh, my mind, what you did to me. Look at what you did to me. All that waiting to exhale music. You had a whole waiting to exhale era. Dudes are making synth music. These women talk about what you did to me and all of that. This is the goofy stuff. Yeah, Ralph was a yeah. Talk about sensitivity, a man like me. That was a good beat too. I'm like, oh my God, man. Even Ja Rule made a lot of synth music, real talk. That's why people got tired of Ja Rule. That's why 50 was able to flame him like he did. Yeah. I mean, you got dudes, this has been going on for a minute. This has been going on for a minute. And you're right, Black Huru, they were. Jodeci. Jodeci was the junk, though. That KC and JoJo. No, oh, I would hate to put that song on there. I try to make an exception, not get that song, but all my life, I pray for someone like you. And I thank God that I finally found you. Oh my God, this bullshit. The indoctrination is real, man. And that's just the songs that were hits. But let's not act like KC threw some in there, there's some shit in there. KC snuck some shit in there though, some real shit in there when he could. They snuck some stuff in there when they could, and that's not even Jodeci. So that's not even the Jodeci stuff. So I mean, again, but see, these people don't. A lot of black people don't know their culture, so they don't even know like the musical history of stuff. They don't even know the history of music. That's why, like, shout out to Impressive. She does a good job covering that type of stuff. If you want to get gamed up on that, but folks are only in the present because again, we have the zeitgeist of a female, and the females only focus on now. They don't focus on the long term. This is why when they talk about building, when they talk about building, what they're doing is they're saying, I don't got what that non-black woman or that white woman has. But see, the problem is the reason why they don't have that is because they don't capitulate to shit. So at the end of the day, this is why whenever black women talk about black men don't build, my answer to that is immediately, you need to stop dating black men then. I'm not even arguing that no more. Oh, I see Lady Tree still here. Edward Anderson, when you come for black women, we'll come for you. Shout out to O'Shea. When you come for black women, well, like you speak for all black women. Shut up. The only reason why you're here is because I allow you to be here, and I could allow you in in a snap of my finger. I could allow you not to be here. I don't even gotta block you. I could just tell them to do it. Don't do it. But you're here because I allow it. And the fact that you don't even understand that dynamic kind of shows how deep in the BS you really are. At the end of the day, you keep seeing stuff is coming for somebody. This is what see this that's that high school shit. I'm about telling the truth. I'm about creating understanding. And then what people do with that is up to them. I'm not about coming for anyone. See, you're on this ego bullshit. Bitch, you don't matter. You need to look in the mirror and say that. Y'all, some of y'all egos are like off the goddamn charts. You all really, if you come for black, this kind of, I'm fragile as fuck, but I want to pretend I'm strong and all this bullshit. If we come for us, we'll come for you. Shut up. Is there nothing? Do you know how to talk without saying like something that every black female hasn't said a million times before? Grow a pair. Bill. Black men on bill. It's all black women's. Is it all black women's fault? What if? But you never answer the question as far as what black women sacrifice. Oh, we had your babies. You have babies because you are in heat, and biology tells you to do so. That's why you have babies, and that's reflective of the dudes that you have babies with. So you have babies for the same reason that a nigga fucks. He wants to nut. Bitch, I gave you this dick. That's the sacrifice. Bitch, do you look at yourself? Have you looked in the mirror? Have you looked at what you look like? The fact that I could even get it up with how you look like was a sacrifice. I sacrificed my self respect. Remember what what Kanye said? I had to take a shower for days. God damn it! I couldn't get clean. I couldn't get clean after fucking with that bitch. It is all from a script. They like the one above all. They just reading a piece of paper. He said, "What you talking about? See, it's right here. It's right in that paper. Look, see, you go talk this shit. You say, it's personal to me. It matters to me. And then I say, grow up, Sylvie, hypocrite. And then you get up like you about to do something. And then Loki gets up right now like he about to do something to you. It's all in the script. What's that manual called? The Basic Bitch Bible. BBB for short. Ease, you're an asshole. Just like a non-ADOS dude. Come for your kids' low test scores. He go straight, just like Nigerian, go straight for the test scores. I'm just playing. It's a couple of Nigerian comedians. They're funny as fuck. And I'm not talking about Godfrey. Yep, the BBB, the triple B. Yeah, you worry about coming for black men. We're gonna come for you. We're gonna come for you. Just like y'all came for Kevin Samuels. Y'all came for Kevin Samuels all the way up to 1.2, what is it, 230,000 subscribers now? Basically 1.2 million subscribers. Y'all keep coming for these people. I wish black women came for me. I wish black women came for me. It would help me make more money. Shit, why don't y'all come for me another? Y'all come for me. We're gonna. She don't even. That's funny. I thought about that. Yeah, we're gonna come for you. I'm being an asshole right now. If you come for us, we're gonna come for you. Can you come while twerking? So you know if people ain't thinking about what they yo, that's gonna be my new thing. If I ever hear a female say, if you come for us, we're gonna come for you. I didn't know this conversation. How did this conversation go sexual? Please, you probably have a little dick. Oh, I'm God to you. Cause the reality is I could Thanos snap you not you could just watch and not talk. I know I ain't shit. When's the last time you ever heard a black female say I ain't shit? But you listening to me. Yeah, Ja Rule was trying to get Pookies to simp. Shout out to Cricket. Shout out to Geek Surgeon. from the next from the episode of West Coast. What was that? West Coast something comes. If you come for us, we'll come for you. These black bitches are not taking it anymore. It's time for these bitches to take control. Directed by Pinky. If you come for us, we will come for you. This time, the man nuts first. Hate viewership is Kevin. I'd argued about 25% of Kevin's followers are hate viewers. You know, they and you get addicted to hate viewing something. Me, I never understood that. I never understood that, but apparently it is a thing. Because you got people that they're such losers in life that the only real emotional exhilaration they get is through hate. And women need positive and negative emotions. They want that. For example, Chloe Bailey said, I don't like when I'm and to be fair, she's 23, so 23-year-olds are gonna do what they do, so I'll give her that. But say, I don't like when a man picks up the phone every time. I wanna wonder what the fuck you're doing. So you like toxic relationships. This is why when women use terms like toxic and shit, they're trying to elicit a certain response from the group of people. But the reality is women like that shit. If they didn't like it, they wouldn't be there. And I don't give a damn what women I don't care what circumstances that is. If she's still there, she likes it. Now, in a couple of situations, especially in this environment, if she's there, she likes it. Point blank period. He beats my ass. So did he start beating your ass before you had his baby? The first kid or the second? Well, I had three of his kids. Yeah, he was beating my ass the whole time. So why did you stay? Now you compare them to the dudes that are boring, and then it's like, oh, well, them relationships lasted like 90 days, and I only had sex with them once. You like the toxic. It's like cigarettes. Cigarettes are toxic too, but folks like them. Anyway, I'm being an asshole today. Make sure y'all support the Cash App because y'all usually don't get me entertaining like this. This is me in rare form. But anyway, y'all, this is another episode. Everybody hates black men. I'll leave y'all to enjoy y'all football games. I am your host, Edward Anderson, and I am out. Peace.